Loveridge, welcome to Totally Lit.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm so excited. Have been thinking back to about 18 months ago when we were just two aspiring emerging authors wanting to have pink hair. And now I feel I have achieved the pink hair, but you have exploded onto the literary scene in an amazing way.
But still don't have pink hair.
No. Well, you can only have one or the other.
Oh, sure. Okay. I don't think anyone told us that when we were planning. We wanted both.
Yes. Oh, I think we can have it all. It's just a case of persistence and submitting, and that's what you've been doing, and now you're enjoying the results of that?
Almost. By the time that podcast is out, then yes, I will be enjoying my debut book out in the world.
Would you like to tell me all about it?
I would like to tell you all about it. It is called Harper Wells, Renegade Timeline Officer. I'm going to hold it up just so you can see it.
It's an amazing cover.
Okay, thanks. I drew
the
that.
name is cool as well, Harper Wells. It's a great name for a character.
She's Harper Wells. She gets called Harry as a nickname throughout the story, and she's Harper Constance Wells, so she's H.C. Wells. So
I love that.
Yes, there's a lot of nerdy Easter eggs all the way through the story, but every character's name is, I've done lots of baby name websites. The internet thinks I'm having many children because I'm always looking at, the baby names. What do they mean?
Yeah, I've done that.
Because I'm sure
although I've been looking for ways for my characters to have the current baby names as well to be appealing. By them as well.
As in, what was the most popular girl's name 10 years ago? Yeah. And it's probably Charlotte. I'll just tell, it's just been Charlotte for so long now.
Yes.
So I don't have any Charlottes or Charlies. But anyway, I digress. My story is the first in a trilogy. It is for middle grade readers, 8 to 12-year-olds, or anyone. And it is an adventurous time travel story as well. So the main character, Harper Wells, finds a time traveling bed, and she travels back in time to meet Edith Cowan when Edith Cowan was Edie Brown, accidentally. And then she gets caught by a proper timeline officer, and trouble ensues. So that's the setup of the story.
Amazing. I would definitely read that.
Oh, thank you. I'd love you to read it, Kai. It's in exciting news, and as a slight tangent, it is coming out as an audiobook. And I was having conversations about a soundtrack for the audiobook. How cool is that? So if you like your stories in your ears, then you can listen to it too, and an ebook. But
are you getting to narrate yourself?
I am not, no. Sarah Bacala from Thrive Audio is doing the audiobook. Yeah.
And who is your publisher?
Is that an important thing that I've missed? My publisher is Wombat Books.
Hello, Wombat Books. I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience. You've written Harper Wells. What was the experience of getting it published?
That's a great question. Let me take you back to 2020. I was having a year off maternity leave with my son, Arthur. It was about September, and I was a bit delirious, as we are in the first year of our babies' lives. And I saw this Varuna Affirm kind of competition, the residencies that they do. And I didn't have a story, but I'd been writing already for a few years at that point. And this competition was closing the next day. So I read this article about a Wollemi pine, which is an incredible tree that disappeared from our fossil records. And then a hiker accidentally found one in 1994, and they call it the dinosaur tree. Anyway, I read this article, this magical tree, and I went to bed and had a dream about how this tree was so magical and so plugged into the earth, forever and ever, that through it, that time travel could be powered or might work. So I woke up with this story idea and this character and this tree, and I wrote 7,000 words to enter into this competition, which I found out it didn't fulfill all the categories. I wrote 7,000 words in one day.
In one day.
Yeah, but I didn't read the entry, but that didn't matter, right? So I had this 7,000 words of a new story. So that's how it was kind of birthed. I am probably, a bit of a feminist. So I wanted to add some themes of girl power in there. So picked out some Australian historical females that I wanted to celebrate, Book One's Edith Cowan, Australia's first female parliamentarian back in 1921. Book Two is Constance Stone, who's Australia's first female medical doctor, had to go to America to study medicine. And Book Three is actually features Jessie Hickman, who is a bushranger, a female bushranger. She's amazing.
Incredible, amazing.
So I had all these pieces and 7,000 words and put them all together and saw an opportunity through Kill Your Darlings for a mentorship and got one of those. So in 2021, I wrote the full manuscript with the help of Leanne Hall, who is an incredible middle grade YA author / person. And so I had the first draft ready to submit, but not really. The following year, I won an ASA Copyright Agency Award mentorship and rewrote it all with Christina Schultz as a mentor, and Christina's also a fantastic editor and person who apparently told me that you can't put tasers in middle grade fiction. So there you go. That's just an extra hint for all aspiring writers out there. Don't put tasers in middle grade fiction. Apparently they're too violent.
I have written a fairy tale which requires a rose to be cut. Oh, well.
Tell us, Guy.
My character wants to take a rose home and she uses clippers and
secateurs.
Cuts its head off, basically. And I have been told that may be a little bit too violent. So I will have to revise that so she maybe digs the rose out gently. Yes, but you can't. There's some things you can't put in, even though.
Well, it depends if she wants to transplant the rose, or.
Well, there is some. The rose is unhappy to be sitting in a glass jar with water, and so she goes through the process of I can't remember my own story. I can't remember the process I used, but where you replant
science?
The gardening and science, I think. Yeah, but basically she
regenerates the root.
She replants the rose, and the rose then is happy and then continues with the magic that it also.
So there's a happy ending.
Yeah,
this is good.
But I have to find a less violent way to make all that happen, I think.
Well, tasers. I mean, I don't know. Look, I've had lots of great conversations with people about our fears as, whatever generation I am, which I can never remember, but I'm 40 this year.
And
I'm a millennial, am I?
I'm a Gen X, right at the end of a Gen X, but I'm.
Well, I think you and I kind of probably grew up with the same stuff, right? Like we're all afraid of sinking sand, which who knows if that actually exists, but we all watched Neverending Story and the Princess Bride.
More in life that we would be trapped in quicksand.
Yeah, quicksand, that's right. A huge fear of mine. Tasers, people, I don't know what I read or where that was or what popular culture tasers are in. But anyway, we're not doing it. We're not doing tasers. There are no tasers in my book. And that's thanks to Christina and her wisdom. So thanks, Christina. I went through those 2 mentorships, which were amazing and actually taught me how to write. By the time I signed this story with Wombat Books, I had been writing it for a long time, maybe 4.5 years or something like that. So signed it last July. Oh, probably almost 5 years, Kai. So.
Well, so even though it does seem like an explosion of things happening for you, it's actually been a long body of work.
Well, it's about 8 years of writing. I'm part of Write Links, which is a fantastic critique group that you're aware of, but
I tell everyone
telling you anyway.
Our listeners may not know about Write Links, which is an amazing organisation we have here in Brisbane, which is very supportive, and all of my writing buddies I've met there, and all the tips I've got on Kidlit have been from the people I've met there and the learnings that we get, which is amazing, and the opportunities. It's a fantastic organisation.
Yeah, well, I have thanked Jenny Stubbs in my acknowledgements and named her as my literary godmother, along with Tina Clark from CYA. So that's kind of been instrumental and special. Swapping pages with people from Write Links and getting feedback once a month was really awesome. And I had a mentorship through them too, which was fantastic. So, I mean, there's nothing like doing a mentorship to find out all the things you're doing wrong.
Well, how do you learn either? I'm a strong believer of you learn from the people that have gone before you. If they've got the magic, they've figured it out and they're willing to share that magic with you. observe and learn and then put it into practice is the way I operate.
Yeah, like Leanne taught me in my first mentorship. One thing that I was doing and probably still want to do half the time is you write your way into the story. You kind of meander around for about 5 chapters, but actually nothing's happening. So at the end of the day, you have to cut them all. And then, which was quite apt because that mentorship was through Kill Your Darlings, and that's what that phrase means. So it's kind of really foundational instrumental stuff, like starting the action. I mean, that's great. We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But when you're actually like laboring over words on the page and then a mentor, you just says, yep, so your story starts here. You just delete all of that.
It doesn't go anywhere, or it doesn't. Why is that
Mhm.
there? I mainly write pieces under 500 words, and even like with the picture book, there's sometimes where like, oh, there's words on the page, but it hasn't actually told the story I want it to tell, and like other people read it and give you great advice. And how about you pop this there? And because you've got so few words to work with and a sort of structure to work with, like, and sometimes you just can't even see yourself. So it's good to share with another author or mentor and them show you exactly, okay, this is the direction it needs to take.
I think picture books the hardest of all to write. So this is middle grade, the one we're talking about today, Harper Wells, and then I have a junior fiction trilogy coming out from next year with Wombat Books as well.
How many books are you actually writing or contracted to at the moment?
10.
10.
But I have
amazing.
none. I have none at the moment.
So there's a lot of work ahead of you
Well,
still.
that's not true. I have one to hold.
Yes.
I have one to hold, but it's not quite out. But yes, no, it's super exciting. All sorts of genres. And yes, I think picture books are the hardest.
They are hard.
Yep. And an unreasonable amount of rounds of edits. And another thing is that everybody has a different opinion about a picture book. And that makes it really tricky. Even when you do use things like critique groups, because, you'll have someone read it and say, I don't really get that joke. You should take that joke out. Or, don't think this is working. And then you'll show someone else and they'll say, well, I think you should build it all around that joke, and change all this other stuff.
Or even when people, like if you're asking for critiques and the manuscript is good and it's like, yeah, this is great. This is where I think you should submit it. And then you're submitting it everywhere and getting no's. And it's like, okay, I've given it to people, they've read it, that it's not really changes, but obviously something has to change. There's times where it's just like, okay, maybe that just has to go on the shelf for a while and write something new. Yeah, it's a difficult medium in a lot of ways.
I think it's hard as well because there's so many beautiful, wonderful people writing picture books.
Yes.
And maybe only so many ideas in the world.
Well, there is times where someone will say, oh, yes, I've read this that's similar to that. And it's like, oh, or you think you've got a brilliant idea and then that book comes out before you've written it but not submitted it anywhere. It's like, oh.
And why does that, how does that happen? I'm confused about that. Like at the moment it's dragons, right? Dragons are having this moment, but I've loved dragons forever. So I feel like I'm at the wrong end of the wave because people were selling those dragon stories 3 years ago when there weren't any dragon stories around. So there must be something in the water though that,
It does seem to all the same, like there was a capybara phase recently loving it, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, oh, why does that happen in a cluster? And then there won't be some capybara stories for a while.
No, because we've got too many capybara stories.
And so, yeah, it is interesting that there'll be a cluster of books that are all similar, come out in a similar amount of time, and then you've missed that if you haven't got in on that trend as well. I'm really not sure why it happens.
No, and I think maybe there's a secret publisher chat out there somewhere. I mean, I happen to know that there isn't, but I like to imagine that there's a secret publisher chat out there.
They're all
somewhere.
friends, and they're like,
yeah. What are we going to go for this week? Let's get spiders, and then there's a wave of spider books, and then they're gone.
Yeah. And I have been having conversations recently in Totally Lit chats where we took, I was just speaking to Sophie Masson and Lorena Carrington about not writing to trend and just writing what's in your heart. And that is there a level of, if you were sustaining a long writing career, do you have to do a bit of strategy around, okay, Christmas is coming. Should I write some Christmas books or should I write Easter books? But our conversation was just write what's authentic and what's in your heart rather than trying to get on board the sales train, I guess.
Yeah, that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah. And especially like with the books that you're writing at the moment, that Harper Wells is your creation, has come from a dream that you've had. You haven't written that to trend, although I do love that you're writing about Australian historical real people as well, because I love a good, strong historical person as well.
Yes, well, that's been an important part of this story to me. So I think I've probably reimagined, historical fiction, you often have to do some reimagining because there's not this kind of solid, you don't know what they said, what they spoke like, whether they liked pink, particularly, or any of that sort of stuff. So you kind of get to add character to them. And I like to sort of think that if Edith Cowan, or Edie, as I call her in the story, if she was alive today, she was 7 today, like she is when Harper first meets her, that she would be a kid who is thoughtful and understanding. And, I think the time context can make it tricky because when were First Nations people even people? When were they allowed to vote? All that stuff hadn't happened yet. It was kind of, but I still wanted to create this character who, if she was here today, she would be for that. She would be this kind of wonderful, generous person who stood up for all the people. But I think it just looked a lot different back then.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a really tricky thing. It's a really tricky thing. I think, like I read Pam Rushby's Mummies of Crumbling Castle, which is another historical fiction, reading Helen Edwards' On Gallant Wings, another historical fiction. And there's tricky stuff in there, Often there's an author note that sort of says, this is the way it was, so I'm telling the story like this. But we've moved. We've come. We've come a certain distance from there. Not good enough, Kai. Not that I want to descend our conversation into politics.
I don't mind at all. I think that it is because attitudes have changed. Like the current world we live in is very different from previous eras, but there is still injustice in the world as well. So I guess setting a realistic setting for your book, like there are certain things that have happened in the past that were not what our current attitudes to the world are. So if you're depicting accuracy, you do have to have some of those things that may seem distasteful to us now. But I also believe that in the past, there were many people who believed in justice. So having a character that does treat people well or wants to fight for rights, or you can have that there because those people have existed in the past, but they've had constraints around them.
Well, she had a pretty tough life, Edith Cowan. When she was 7, her father sent her off to a boarding school, and one of those ones where you live in and never see your family again. And shortly after that, he shot his wife and got hanged. So that was kind of like her life as a young person. The Mrs. Cowan sisters, the Cowan sisters, which is the sisters of James Cowan, which is how she got her last name. So yes, I think it is lucky. I think that's how she kind of stepped into her legacy. But she also, Perth had slum housing, and she would visit people living there and support them, and she fought for women's rights. And she was a pretty special person. I'd like to think that she is that kind of person, as a person. But then when you're writing, it's just tricky. But that's the fun. That's the fun about historical fiction, because I get to fictionalize it. That's my license. So
you can use your imagination, and you can create. Words have a lot of power as well. So you can share the message that you want to share, as well as sharing Edith's message as well with all those readers that will be picking up your book and reading it, and hopefully inspiring some young girls, and maybe young boys as well, like, would be, yeah, you can really use your work to create knowledge and create change as well. Even though we're talking about children's literature in a lot of ways, like that, you can still share the messages you want in that. Of course, if your publisher lets you as well, which it sounds like you've been able to do that with the work you're doing with Wombat.
Yeah, I think Rochelle got the story, which was good. She's all about girl power or people power.
Amazing. So how are you feeling with the idea of 10 books in the works with deadlines, and is that feeling okay?
Yeah, it's feeling good.
Is my worry is I would not cope with the pressure of actually having a deadline.
So six of them are totally finished, like totally written.
Okay.
So this middle grade series, which starts in September this year, and then junior fiction series starts with Josie Mack and the Mega Division. I don't know if you've read that one, Kai, through Right Links. So I've written 2 of those too. You know, all I have to do now is wrap all these things up. I have to write the last books in the trilogy. It's just easy as.
So you are a prolific writer then, it's safe to say.
Well, I love writing. It's sort of, if I don't do it for a week or 2 or, you know, something like that, I will start to feel angry. I was going to say sad, but the truth is angry, Kai. I really, you know, it's not good enough. It doesn't work for me. So we've got to be writing. I'm pretty, I don't know what the word is, but protective. There you go. Protective of my time, my writing time.
Yeah. It sounds like disciplined as well, in that your writing time is used for writing.
I think deadlines help with that. But you know what? I am not currently at a desk job. And for most of my writing career, I was, and I have been. I've been working full-time at sometimes, you know,
And
big long days.
well.
And I got 2 little kids, yeah. And I would get up at 5 o'clock and write. So I don't have to do that now, which is fantastic because I'm not a morning person at all. But I will make time for it, you know. So otherwise I become a tyrant of a person. I probably shouldn't
be nice to
say
Bethany
things like that.
Loveridge. Allow her to write. So we don't get an angry Betty.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably not like, no one would ever know. No one would ever know. Except for Carl, my husband. He would know. He'll know.
He's like, please sit down and write.
Yeah, just go. Just do writing. It's like, yeah, I don't know what it's like.
I do find writing very cathartic. And like if I've written a piece that just feels good, like the process feels good, the result feels good, like I feel that satisfaction of going, oh, I created that. That's great. Sometimes I find I don't have the continuity in that. There'll be sometimes I'll try to write something and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Can't do that. Whereas I think when you're starting to have a writing practice where you're at the level of writing a novel, it like it's a different process than like me just throwing something on a page and going, oh, okay, he did that in one hit. That was great. Whereas there's your process it's time consuming.
It is, but I really hate time wasting. So what I tend to do is dream for a while. You know, I have these notebooks everywhere, but I don't write, you know, like long form. I don't write the story in notebooks, but I write ideas. Like I'll have an idea and I'll write it down. Something about like just physically, I'll never look at it again. But writing it down on a piece of paper with my hand means it's somehow gone into my brain. And eventually I will have enough of these ideas that I can start to connect them into a story. I tend to like imagine a world first or you know, a magical system or something bigger picture, and then have to work out, well, who lives there and what do they want, you know.
World building.
Yeah. Start with the world. I think that is like super not. So many other people start with a character, you know, they'll have this character come to them and they'll go, oh, this character just desperately wants insert, you know, but this awful thing's in their way, insert stakes, you know, whereas I will have a world And then, and maybe that's, I could do a landscape painting of it, but then I have to work out where to go from there. Anyway, my point was I'll start to dream this up. I'll write notes everywhere. And then when I actually have time to write, I will plot, and I will write a few sentences or even one sentence, what happens in this chapter, and I'll go all the way through. So I end up with a skeleton of a whole story. And only then will I start writing, because otherwise I will waste my time, and I really hate to waste my time.
And you wouldn't want to write a whole 80,000 words and go, oh,
nothing happened.
Oh no, there's so many words, but no action.
So many words equals so much of your time, and oops. And look, hey, I still think that happens, and you still write a first draft and then go, this is not working for whatever reason. There's actually no stakes here, or there's a huge plot hole that means the whole thing is redundant. And it does take, well, actually, my first book took me years and years, right? But the second in the series took, I don't know, less than 6 months to write.
Well, once you've got the world created, it's a bit easier to add to the world. But I imagine all that learning that you've put in the meantime has also helped in terms of someone's helped you with that first manuscript. You can now put that into practice and just go
start in the action.
Don't cut Rose's heads off.
Hey, I learned heaps more stuff than that in my mentorships, I promise.
So all that learning and mentoring that you've had is now the next time you do it, you've got that to make it a much quicker process as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have a few questions for you so listeners can get to know you a little bit better. I've changed my format a little bit. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what tip would you share with aspiring kidlit creatives?
Oh my gosh. Hey, my number one tip is to read. Just to eat books. That's it. I mean, I was a reader before I was a writer forever, for my whole life. I love books. And I think that you start to understand the language if you read. So
you do have a really good knowledge of books that are coming out, and I know you've said to me, have you read this? And I'm like, no, I have not. Oh, what about this one? No.
Yeah, I've got a book recommendation for everyone. I particularly love middle grade literature, as you know. So I host the Love Oz MG Instagram, and I don't read adults' books anymore. So I don't have to, it breaks you. You kind of don't. It's a different language. You can't read an adult's book. You can't survive on a diet of adults' books only and then try and write for kids, because they're not the same. So I'm not saying that you can't read adults' books if you're a kidlit writer. I'm just saying you have to read kids' books too. So,
but I do have to say, I'm on a week's off from work. I've got some annual leave, and one of my days I'm planning to go to the library and borrow all the latest picture books that are coming out and just read them, absorb the language, and see what other authors are doing as well. Because I have picked up that I kind of write a little bit differently to some of the other picture books that are coming out. And I'm like, well, the only way to learn is to read those and see what I can improve and change. So that is my plan for one of my days off, is to be reading.
Yeah, I mean, your kid's a bit older now. My kids are still young enough to read picture books too, and I have hundreds and hundreds of them. And not exaggerating, I have a problem, Kai. But there's
We've
books
all
that
got problems too.
Yeah, it's true. I just gave myself one problem. This one problem, there's books that my kids will pick up and want to read every night, every second night. There's books I'll read once and they'll never want to listen to again. I'm not going to tell you what they are. And so that's a great exercise, to pull out the ones that your kids want to read and read and read. What is it about this story, Or there's on the other hand, there's books that, oh, no, now I'm going to have a mental blank. What's the Christmas book about the wombat?
I can't recall it.
Wombat Divine by Mem Fox. Oh, I love to read that story. I love the characterization and I love the rhythm of it, So that's one of the books. The other is The Cook and the King by Julia Donaldson. Those two books for me have just such a wonderful rhythm. And I will read them and then transcribe them on my computer and go, why do I why do I like this pattern of words? What
Mm.
is it about, you know, what can I cut out of my own story to make it kind of as rhythmic? And, one of the biggest reasons I had to do eight versions of this picture book I've got coming out in February or March next year is because there's too many words. I'm used to writing like 50,000 words and there's this,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful magical world. And then all of a sudden you've got to write 350 words and not every single one of them has to be, deserving of its place or it's gone.
Yes. Yep.
And it has to, there has to be rhythm and there has to be something. It's really, and we want words in our books. Like there are hardly any wordless picture books out there at the moment, unless you're doing the illustrations as well. That's probably not going to happen.
I don't think my brain can get around it. How do I present, because it's really a concept you're presenting if it's a wordless picture book.
Yeah.
And if you're not an illustrator,
what are you bringing to the table, Kai?
What am I trying to tell someone I want from this in terms of it has to have no words, but to present it as a concept, there has to be words.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and you should still get paid,
Yeah.
I'm an author. I write words. Here's this book. It has no words.
I don't need to be involved at all, but yeah, I would like my name on the front.
Oh, dear.
Can you tell me one surprising thing about yourself that your readers and other writers may not know about you? I have not prepared Betty in any way for this question.
Oh no, I probably shouldn't say that. Well, I don't know what's surprising. I'd love to surprise you. I'd love to say something that knocked your socks off and just made you be like, whoa. But I reckon you know. I reckon you know too much about me to surprise you. Hey, do you know what? I am like such an introvert that I am down the scale, off the scale, in the cupboard, in the dark. There you go. Is that surprising?
Because I know you, it's not surprising to me, but it may be surprising to our listeners as well. When I first met you, I immediately was like, oh, you're one of my tribe straight away. And one, because I could tell, because I'm an introvert and struggle with a bit of, some people would call it shyness, but as an adult, I've identified that it's anxiety. So yeah.
Welcome.
Sometimes putting myself out there is not my most comfortable place to be. And it's something, though my writing career has been giving me so much growth to be able to change some of that. And I always look back at all those times I didn't do something because I was feeling didn't put myself forward because of fear. What did I miss out on? So now I'm overcome it, because look at what the world is giving you every time you say yes, every time you push yourself to walk into that room or to submit a manuscript somewhere, even though you really don't want to do it. It's conflicting as an artist. You don't want to be in front of people, but the only way to share your art is to be in front of people. So I always go, okay, this is really scary, or I'm putting myself in a place where I feel uncomfortable, but look at what opportunity it has given me to do that. So that's how I battle the anxiety as well. Is I'm like, oh, if you let yourself be, I'm not even sure if the word is scared. There's just, you're fighting something within yourself that you don't want to do that. But if you don't do it, who doesn't read your book if you haven't written it and submitted it or gone to an event and put yourself there? Those kids don't get to hear that story or have that opportunity. So stepping forward and doing the things that are a bit uncomfortable.
Well, hey, how good is it for the kid in the crowd when you're talking at Book Week or something who is wired the same way?
Yeah, when they're you.
That's right.
Yeah, and so just...
I write about my anxiety through Harper Wells, actually. So she's 6 and a bit years on from losing her mother suddenly. Her mother goes to work at the State Museum and doesn't come home. And she has an older brother who desperately misses mum, but remembers lots more about her, and a father who has never, ever given up trying to find mum. And she's just kind of doesn't remember, doesn't have memories, and So she doesn't really think she's affected, but obviously, you know, it's quite a big thing. So she's prone to panic attacks. And so talk about anchoring techniques. I mean, like, I'm making it sound didactic. Hopefully it's all part of the adventure and the character, and that's what we do. We write ourselves into our characters. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about that more with kids who want to talk about it.
To anxiety in the world we're living in at the moment, anxiety is very prevalent just because of the fast-paced life we're living, the social media being thrown at us all the time. It is something that it needs to be discussed, but also that there has been a stigma around depression, anxiety, all those kind of things that are very natural to feel, that it's a weakness. And I feel very strongly that it's not a weakness, it's a natural reaction to the situations you're presented with. So those, when you're just told to shake it off, just, I've never felt this way. Why can I can't empathize with you feeling anxious in this situation. It's not the way to help people at all, so having discussions around it. And even in Easy Peasy, which I haven't actually talked a lot about it, is that I, as an adult, found myself in many situations where I needed to ask for help. But as women, we're encouraged to think that we can do it all. We can work, we can have an amazing writing career, we can raise our family. There's times where you can find yourself where you don't have a village and you have to swallow your pride and ask for help. But we're not. If we're a strong, independent woman, we do it all ourselves. And I really wanted to encourage that idea of, if you're learning to do something, or you're in a situation where you need someone else to help you, that it's okay to admit that and say, oh, actually, this is something I can't do on my own. And it's okay to say, oh, can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Because I think, like, even with our writing, we're all helping each other, but there's times where we're like, just can't figure out how to move forward. And it's okay to reach out to your writing buddies and go, well, have you got an idea? How do we do this? But I think in life, we're being taught to be independent, which is an amazing thing to have resilience and be independent, but also having the sense to go, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard. I need some help.
I think that's really important. There's some great parenting advice in there, Kai. We just snuck in there, with little kids right from the beginning, telling them, I'll always be here to help you if you need your help.
Yeah,
if
I
you
think
need my
that's
help,
really, because I have two sons on the spectrum and they have needed a lot of help, but teaching them that needing help is not a weakness, that like they have a condition where their brain fire is a little bit different to other people, but that it just means they're different, not less than. And that, that it's okay to say, oh, well, I'm really struggling with this. I'm not really where my peers are at the moment. It feels embarrassing to say, I can't do this. And really, it shouldn't be embarrassing at all. It should just be, okay, how do we find the resources to support you through this time? And that's the way I've parented. I haven't always got it right.
Fair enough.
But also when because now they're young men, they've just graduated out of high school and they're out in the world. I always want them to be able to come to me when something goes wrong, that they know they can still come and say to me, oh, Mum, how do I handle this? What do I do? Because I don't also want them to be feeling like, oh, got myself into a bit of trouble, I can't tell Mum.
Yeah.
Because you can help steer their way out of that trouble, but if you don't know it's happening, or you don't have that relationship where they will share with you what's going on, you can't help them. So I think we've gone on a totally different tangent.
We've swapped over to our parenting podcast, which is great. Yeah, I have a very big feeler. So yeah, it's just been incredibly important for my husband and I to have an open, whenever you want to feel, whenever you need to feel, which, is about the silliest things, Kai. And I think that's a challenge as a person and a parent, to just sit there and let someone feel when they're feeling about something that is, their towel's the wrong color, or their friend more significantly, their friend left the school or whatever it is, even if that happened 6 months ago, and why are we still feeling about it, So I can resonate with that. It's not about my book though, or about books, but it is. It's about easy peasy. It's about your book, Kai, and I love that.
Oh yes, my books.
So there you go.
And now this is my next question, which is not a question, but an invitation for you to ask me a question.
Ooh. Kai, are you still working on a longer form something?
In my head? I have some ideas for the longer things I would like to create. I have submitted some applications to some mentors and mentorships and some residencies with the hope to create some space and time to sit and think and imagine and create. I'm not sure if any of those are going to pan out, but as you have done, you just have to apply and see what the outcome is. So I would like to write something that I thought it would be YA, but I'm thinking it's probably more a middle grade kind of thing. I have a novel that I would like to write that is women's fiction, I guess, but maybe a little bit funny, I want it to be based on my partner and I meeting because we're raising a neurodiverse family together. Our initial romance was a little bit different from the usual way things happen, but it also involved him being very kind and generous and understanding of, our family has a few little quirks that luckily he's a generous, kind-hearted man, so he saw us for who we were straight away. So I'd like to depict that in a novel to show some of the funny things that happen to us, the crazy stuff, but keep it fictionalized as well. So that's I've got so many projects I would love to do, but some of them will just sit until I have the time to make them a reality. And I keep creating other projects like my writing prize I did last year. I'm hoping to do that again this year.
Yeah, awesome.
And get some picture books happening. Yeah, so there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot I would love to do. Whether they actually see the light of day is another thing.
I'm sure there's something wise to say here about nothing is wasted, and rada.
Some of it involves discipline and getting up at 5 a.m. or sitting until midnight. I've got to do the hard yards that every other author has done. So some of it requires me to go, okay, you're really going to do this, do it.
Well, it's just such a shame we all have to, work jobs and earn money and support families. And
well, artists in the past
really gets in our way, doesn't it?
Well, handwriting manuscripts. Can you imagine writing with an inkwell and a feather? There's been writers in the past who had much more difficult conditions to produce the work that they have, and they did it. So really, it's just about that. Yeah, how much do you want this? You just have to make that time to do it and get past just the little fear of, can you actually sustain a long form manuscript as well? Because everything I do is under 500 words.
And you can. I'll tell you that you can. You're all over that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. That's got me all teary now. Oh, somebody believes in me. Oh, I think my terrible sense of humor is coming into
Good. We like funny books. We like that too. It's good.
So in terms of Harper Wells, there's going to be a launch soon, is that right?
Oh, it's going to be so fun. If you are in Brisbane, yes, you should totally come along. It's on the 20th of September, which is also a special day because it's my 40th birthday. And
I'm 100 years older than you.
At least.
Yes.
So I'd love people to come along to that.
And will we see you anywhere else around the country?
Around the country?
Wow. Doing a book tour?
I am going to do lots of fun school holiday workshops.
Yep.
I'm going to run some about plotting your story, some about writing time travel and some about writing historical fiction. And I'm going to go to some schools and say hello and introduce myself. So I will put all of that information plus my launch information on my Instagram. That's the best place to see what I'm doing and where I'm going. Those are my locked in plans. I think next year is going to be huge. So I'll probably do some more around Australia type things next year.
That'll be very exciting.
I'll be doing that fun introvert thing where you take a big breath and you go out and you do the thing and then you come back and
lie down,
hibernate for 2 weeks.
I think, the energy that it takes this month for me, because I've been doing my daily work job during the day and weekends have been book week events. I'm like, oh, is it nearly the end of August, please?
Do you know what though? Like a saving grace. Like I say, I'm an introvert, and I am it, and I definitely am, and it wears me out and tires me out, and it's a huge amount of all the types of energies. But it's also like I genuinely love people and books. So that side of it is like there's genuine joy there. Like I'm a high school teacher and a youth worker before that, and previously worked in a role where I was talking to roomfuls of people. Like it's my job. Like I keep finding these jobs where I'm, talking to large crowds, and I love it. But it's also incredibly tiring. So there's a silver lining there. It would be very different if I genuinely disliked people.
Well, yeah, I think that's and not even what with the anxiety, it's not about not liking people at all. Like often if I go to an event, I'm recharged and re-energized and I've enjoyed wonderful conversations and met great people. But there is almost nearly always an element of make yourself go.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will be better if you go.
Because how good is your dog and
a nice good book and
your house and sitting and writing and just like that's the best thing ever. I'd probably also just be happy if I could always just stay at home and write and never have to go anywhere. That'd be wonderful.
I'm a bit of a procrastinator, so my problem is if I was able to stay home and write,
would I washing
actually write
and walk the dog and make a cake? Hey, the other thing is that lots of my besties, most of them are extroverted. Isn't that funny?
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I find people just claim me and I let that happen. And
that's how it works.
That friendship has been totally built by that other person. And I do need to give back. And I do give back to my friends. But yeah, it is interesting how relationships develop.
They like you said, they chose you, they picked you, so they like you the way you are. Maybe, everyone needs a balance. So I sat next to this person once at a film conference and this is a highly irrelevant story, you should cut this. But anyway, and she was wearing all black, like this goth film teacher, beautiful person. And I was a rainbow, and if you've seen the most recent adaptation of Wednesday, she's got the roomie / best mate. Anyway, the point is that we exist in the world and get around, and we choose people that are like a balance for us. So I think that's why as introverts, extroverted people pick us. I mean, I like hanging out with you too, Kai, because we can go and find a corner and like talk about
weird stuff.
Yeah, we go beyond the weather. How's the weather? That's great. Should we go? I think we met at a writer centre. No, GenreCon. A GenreCon opening
we were dressed up as movie characters, I think.
Yeah, and I was Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus, and I was heartbroken because I just received a rejection that day.
I just received a rejection today.
Stop it. Oh my goodness.
I just get it's part of the process. It's
hey,
hard.
Do you know with that one, like there was snot and tears, like, and that was how many years ago? That was 2021 or 21. It was a long time ago now. So it does, now I shrug it off a bit, maybe.
I'm starting to get better.
She lies.
if it was something I really, really wanted, I would be
Yeah,
very
I know.
upset. And this one today, I was like, oh, it would have been really good for my career for it to have been a yes.
Yeah, it would have been
But
much, much nicer to be a
yes.
yes.
But like there's something, the way I'm operating at the moment is instead of chasing opportunity, I'm letting opportunity chase me. We in mind that the only way to be in that way, in the way of that opportunity, is to put yourself there,
Oh, sure.
but not wrapping myself up in knots going, oh, why didn't this happen? Or I tried that and that didn't happen, because I acknowledge that rejection is part of the process of becoming a writer. And that, well, they can't say yes to everything either. So like it's normal to get no's, but
It's
it's
kind
just,
it's kind of like relationships too, Kai. Like you don't want to talk someone into taking your story. You want the person, the editor who gets it and wants to champion it, because otherwise it'll flop anyway,
mm.
you know.
And
So,
even
but
something, it's about changing what you measure success by as well.
yeah,
I think
well, that's
uh,
true.
I've had a lot of amazing opportunities this year that haven't actually been publishing opportunities, but they've been a result of being published. And me, because I was rewriting my bio the other day, and I'm like, Kai is a proud ambassador for
Yeah, you are.
Carers Queensland,
Yeah,
Life Without Barriers, Children's Rights Queensland,
that's it.
Pen Pals, Author Pen Pals. And I'm like, oh, these are a lot of things. That's a lot of things. And those, it wouldn't be happening if I hadn't got my first book published. And
Yep.
so I like the idea of having platforms to promote literacy and help people in need. And also I'm a big supporter of unpaid carers, because, there's people out there that are caring for someone they love, and it's a really hard thing to do, and just wanting to raise that as awareness. And I'm like, oh, well, those are opportunities. And even though they may not be a book opportunity at the moment, it's giving me things to work on, and I've got something to say and being able to share that. But I may look at 2026 and go, maybe not so many those all at once. But yeah, having that opportunity to give back as well, like I really get a lot of satisfaction from that. But yeah, just weighing up, okay, to continue being involved with those kind of things, you also need to continue to be published as well.
Yeah, but they make you one of the good ones, Kai.
Hopefully.
And
What I really,
you're existing in the world, like it's like being involved with Squibbie and being involved with Right Links, and, existing in the world it helps you keep going when you're not
mm,
getting the contracts, because, it's almost, if not as much, a joy for you to celebrate someone else's success. And there's always success. Like someone's doing something wonderful. Shula
yeah,
Moore's getting a contract, or Sancho's getting a contract, or, and you're there and you can celebrate
yeah,
those
and I always
wonderful people. So,
think that celebrating other people's successes is good, because especially when it's the first time for them as well.
yeah,
Like, there's that feeling of, oh, I've got my first book, I've got my first launch, oh, I've seen my first character at Book Week, somebody's dressed up as a character. Like, that stuff is amazing and
yeah,
fun, and like helping someone experience that joy, because sometimes I think even though you're in the moment of all that happening, you're not enjoying it as much because you're worried about, okay, how do I make this happen again?
yeah.
When it's better to just enjoy this for what it is.
No,
And
that's a very hard thing to do.
yes,
Even me with my 10 contracts, Kai, I'm like, and then, and
but
then,
honestly, I do love, because we were at your place going, oh, this is rough.
yeah.
And now look at where you are. Like,
Maybe we should just lash out and dye our hair, and that will make everything better. So we have
the
pink
funny
hair.
thing is, neither of us actually dyed our hair on that day.
No, we didn't. But we did solve all our problems. No, we didn't.
We created a beautiful friendship.
Yeah, worth it.
And totally, like, I am really thrilled to see so much happening for you, because I think the one thing when you're trying to create a writing career is it's hard to break in, it's hard to stay in, and there's so many of us that are just out there trying to figure out what the formula is. So for my listeners who are aspiring or emerging, it's great to hear that you have been in the trenches and that what you have to do is keep submitting and keep trying and putting yourself in front of those opportunities for mentorships, and then you see results. And that's definitely what you're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I think even when you have something happening, even when you have a book, and it's been told to me by lots of other people, you got to keep writing. And you're going to write another 5 stories in that time that nothing happens with. But then you'll write something that is good. Or not even good. They could all be good. It's really this awful kind of, there is no, what did you call it before? Some science word.
I don't even know.
Let's go with
what
recipe. Recipe, algorithm. There's
formula.
nothing. Formula.
I think there is not an actual formula, but it does sometimes feel like someone's got the magic at the moment. And if you see them with 4 or 5 books out all at once, it's like, oh, how did they do that? What am I doing that's different? And I think the answer is they're writing and they're submitting.
Yeah.
I kind of base it like opportunity
that's just
1 in 10.
It's breakthrough, Kai. That's what it is. It's like, it's 7 years of 7 years of hard work, broken hearts, tears.
Oh, the tears.
A lot of frustration because, like, as a person who reads and reads and reads, and you kind of like, and you write stuff and you go, I have brains. I'm writing good stuff, but it's just about perseverance. And there's never a truer word that, you only fail when you quit.
Yes.
100% of people who get a book contract kept writing. So
that's it. I think this year has been I've had a few things personally that haven't been great over the last 12 or 18 months. And my writing career has kept me sane and happy, and it's worth it to persevere. But I have really gone, is this the day that I just switch everything off? And then I have wonderful people in my life going, don't do it, Kai, keep going. And now I feel almost like a responsibility to keep going, in that I'm like, all these people believe in me and are encouraging me. Wouldn't it be terrible to just go, not doing it anymore? Like, that's not the answer.
Well,
the answer is
it's not the answer for you, Kai, because you love it. So, but it's as frustrating as it is. There's also times when other things are your priority, and they have to be because you have a big, full life. And that
I think the assumption I had, because really a lot of my writing has been because I wanted to be more available to my children. And my history has been that ever since they were born, to keep the roof over our head, I've not been able to be available to them. And I thought by creating a writing career, I would be able to step back from traditional work and do some more writing activities. And all that has actually happened is I'm now very, very busy. And I'm like, boys, don't yell for half an hour because I'm recording at the moment. So that has been I guess a misnomer on my part, that outcome may happen. And like maybe 5 or 10 years in the future, that it may be that I have a catalogue of books and have a career where I'm visiting schools and libraries, and my career will be a writing career. But at the moment, that's not what I have. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, or you can just retire, because one of them.
I'll die soon.
Dear me.
No, yeah.
Retire,
and be a full-time writer then.
Yeah,
it is just.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to being, more part of the writing industry on the side of where you're interacting with the kids, because that's such a joy. But like book week this year for me, I'm like, oh, I can't really book too many school visits because I'd have to take a lot of leave to do that. But I've managed to be invited to events that have been on the weekend, which has been amazing. So that's worked out very well for this year. We'll see what next year brings. But I think your book week is going to be insane for 2026.
Next year, yeah. Hey, I make it a policy not to think too far ahead, so get very overwhelmed. So
just take it a day
I've got today worked out. Yeah, I've got today worked out, Kai. And even then,
who knows? Hour by hour. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a great time to chat, and I feel a bit spoiled as well because we don't always get time to chat. Like we're always rushing past each other at events, and so it's been lovely to have an hour of your time.
Well,
you
incidentally,
and I,
we just recorded it. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Hopefully my nasally tones have been a delight for everyone.
Your voice has lasted. Well done.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Kai.
Totally Lit is an independent podcast. You can help support us to continue to chat with wonderful Australian creatives by leaving a review on iTunes or sharing our socials with your friends. You can also make a contribution at www.buymeacoffee.com/totallylit. This will also help with equipment and podcasting platform fees. I love to interact with our listeners, so feel free to say hello either by email or social media at totallylitpodcast@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn and Twitter, and now Blue Sky. I've also created a group on Facebook called the Totally Lit Writing Community. It's a space to continue the conversation and share your writing successes, events, launches and latest projects. Jump into the group and say hello. Thank you for listening to Totally Lit, and don't forget to go out into the world to read, write, create, ignite.